Well, it certainly wasn't a dull day in Thai politics yesterday. As we probably all know, Pita was suspended by the Constitutional Court in Thailand, and then there was a whole 8-hour debate on whether he should be allowed to re-nominate as the Thai Prime Minister, even though he'd been suspended as an MP. We pretty much know what happened with that. We'll be covering that in today's program on TNT. And as we said, we will go through all the events from yesterday, but we'll start with some other stories today. We go to nationthailand.com, and it reports all-night entertainment in the EEC provinces eyed to bring in tourist dollars. The government's decision to look into keeping entertainment venues in 3 Eastern Economic Corridor provinces open all night may offer a boon to tourism businesses. And the Cabinet on Tuesday accepted the Interior Ministry's proposal to keep entertainment venues in Chonburi, Chachoengsao and Rayong open 24 hours. Understanding that the former Cabinet is still in operation and they're still sitting every Tuesday and keeping the wheels of Thai government in motion. And those 3 provinces take in the EEC and the possibility of entertainment venues being open 24 hours a day. The Secretary of the Entertainment and Tourism Association of Pattaya says, "We believe this will benefit local businesses and strengthen Pattaya's tourism industry." Though the specifics have not been worked out, the proposal signals a boost in the livelihoods of local communities. If the project materialises, Pattaya will be able to compete with other world-class tourism destinations in Europe, South Korea or Japan. It's probably difficult to rate Pattaya as a world-class tourism destination. Certainly very popular, but maybe not world-class. And for instance, he said, bars and restaurants may operate until late evenings, while Walking Street can stay open until the wee hours. Must have parents in Scotland or New Zealand. He added that if the new rules are applied properly, the operation of all-night entertainment venues will not affect local communities. Pretty sure this news sent a lot of Pattaya businesses into a frenzy. It certainly did at the PattayaNews.com. They reported Thai Cabinet approves 24/7 operation of entertainment venues in EEC areas, including Pattaya. Now, understanding that the publishers of the PattayaNews.com are Nightwish Entertainment, which owns, of course, a lot of the bars around Pattaya, we appreciate that they would be very enthusiastic. But the article sort of went on there to wind back that enthusiasm through the rest of the article. The Thai Cabinet has approved a proposal, to allow nightlife venues in the Eastern Economic Corridor to operate 24 hours a day to meet the growing needs of tourists. However, before you can get too excited, the regulation is not yet official and needs approval from regional and local leaders, along with guidelines and regulations for the change. No timeline for this has been set. In fact, no exact completion date of the decree has been given yet. This legislation aims to support businesses in the EEC area in catering to increasing tourists who arrive at the Utupao airport. That Utupao airport just seems to be very underused. The government keeps on saying they're going to throw money at it, but it seems in the meantime that the airlines are just not that keen in adding too many flights. And this paragraph, as for Pattaya, local officials will need to discuss the legislation first before making a decision in terms of which areas it will apply to and what rules and regulations will apply. No set date for when this is expected to happen has been given, so excited bar owners are being told to wait for more information and city communication for now and to adhere to current legal closing times in the interim. And some early proposals suggest that the change may only be to certain zones, such as Walking Street, and not the whole city, but this remains to be seen, says the article. So these closing times have been flaunted for years around the country, and maybe it's time to let the customers decide and let businesses decide when they should stay open. Anyway, we will, I'm sure, hear more about that as the new government, whoever they may be, comes into power and sits down and works out exactly what's going to happen to that. By the way, a big thanks to our sponsor 5 Star Marine. Yes, there's a link in the description with a special deal for TNT viewers. We appreciate the support of 5 Star Marine, and if you want a VIP charter boat off the island of Phuket to any of the beautiful islands and beaches around Pangar Bay, then we can highly recommend 5 Star Marine. And before we check out all the political news from yesterday, we head to Phuket. This from the PhuketExpress.com. Jordanian arrested in Patong for working illegally as a barber. Well, yeah, that sort of looks like what he's doing there. And it says a Jordanian man was arrested in Patong after he was found to be providing a barber service to foreign customers, which is a protected occupation only for Thai people. And police inspected the barber shop to find a man only identified as Mr. Osam, who was doing barber for a foreigner. Yeah, no one's been doing barber on me for quite a long time. He was unable to present any legal work documents to police. He did, however, show photos of his passport in his mobile phone and showed that he's Jordanian. No work permit was found in his passport or on his mobile phone's photos. And the Phuket Express notes that barbers and salon workers are a protected Thai occupation, and foreigners cannot work in this field or obtain work permits to do so. So he'll be packing up his comb and scissors, not sure whether he'll be deported over that or fined, but yes, indeed, you're not allowed to work as a barber or in a salon if you're a foreigner. And we go to our next story now, and Thai PBS World reports that Thailand's serial cyanide murder suspect, her husband and lawyer have been indicted. And the serial cyanide murder suspect, we know her as Cyanide, her real name is Sararat, her husband and her lawyer have all been indicted in the criminal court on charges of murder, robbery and concealing evidence. And the three are accused of involvement in the murder of Siripon Kanwong. And according to the prosecutor's charge sheet, Sararat is accused of putting potassium cyanide in food, which was consumed by Siripon, who eventually passed out and died. She's also accused of stealing several valuables from the victim, including 50,000 baht in cash, a Louis Vuitton bag valued around 30,000 baht, several wallets, 18 lottery tickets and 2 smartphones, altogether valued around 154,000 baht. And her policeman husband, Wutun, and the lawyer are accused of assisting the murder suspect to escape punishment by destroying or concealing evidence. And she's also accused of involvement in the murders by cyanide poisoning of 14 victims and 1 attempted murder. And of course it was that 1 attempted murder that brought her undone, because of course that person was able to testify exactly what happened, and so that police investigation started. So armed suicide, her husband and her lawyer indicted. Thank you for joining us on our Thursday program. Please subscribe to the channel if you get an opportunity. There's no cost. We don't send you emails or anything, but it does certainly help the channel. Now, just to unravelling all the things that happened yesterday, we start with the BangkokPost.com. Parliament rejects Pita's renomination for PM. And the vote sets a precedent as the next PM candidate on July 27 will have only one shot at obtaining majority. So let's just unpack that situation. Yesterday, the majority of the debate was whether Pita Limjaroenrat from the Move Forward Party should be allowed to renominate for a second time, given that last Thursday the joint sitting of Parliament had already rejected his candidacy as Prime Minister. Now, what it means is that the next person that stands up and asks for the Parliament to put their hands up, yay or nay, will only have one crack at the whip. So whoever stands up better be very sure that they're going to get the votes, because they're not going to have a second chance. And the story goes on to say that the joint House and Senate sitting voted yesterday to reject the renomination of the Move Forward Party leader Pita Limjaroenrat for Prime Minister because a parliamentary regulation bans it, and that's according to the parliamentary president. Mr. Wan made the announcement after 715 parliamentarians voted. So in the joint sitting, here's the way it fell. 394 parliamentarians most of them unelected senators, voted against Mr. Pita's renomination. 312 voted to support. 312, of course, is the exact number of MPs in the eight-party coalition. So they all voted in a block. 8 abstained and 1 didn't exercise the right to vote. You wonder why those 9 even bothered going to Parliament. They should have played golf instead. After the vote, Mr. Wan, the parliamentary president, brought the session to a close. He rescheduled the next attempt to choose a premier for July 27, when the Pattaya party is expected to propose its candidate. And businessman Sreta Tavisin is the likely choice, but the composition of the coalition might change. So what that means is that even though it'll be a different party and a different prime ministerial candidate, they fear a lot of the senators may say, well, no, the Move Forward party is still part of that coalition, so we're not going to vote for you. So they may have to drop the Move Forward party from the coalition and get some of the other parties, who used to be, of course, in opposition to Pattaya, together in that coalition. Let's go to some more stories from yesterday. And Thai PBS World says that Pita's second run at PM scuttled. Well, before they could even debate whether Pita could run for a second time as PM, the Constitutional Court suspended him earlier in the day, saying that his time as an MP will have to wait until they look at his media shares case. But he could still run as PM, but he really never got the opportunity to do that. So after that debate was finished, Pita, well, he had to leave the chamber. And the vote came after more than 8 hours of heated debate over whether his renomination was against House regulations. His opponents insisted that his renomination was a repeat of the same motion submitted and rejected by Parliament last Thursday. And Thai PBS World also reports that Pita's parting shot, he said Thailand has changed since the election. And in his parting shot, as he prepared to leave the Parliament chamber after being told by the Constitutional Court to suspend his parliamentary duty, Pita asked his fellow MPs to make his victory complete. He said, I think Thailand has never been the same since the May 14 election. The people are now halfway to victory. Though I'm no longer able to perform the duty, I ask my fellow MPs to take care of the rest. And Pita, who was seen removing his MP tag and placing it on a table, waved to his fellow MPs and punched the air as he was making an exit. And most of that footage from the ABC Australia, shot by their Southeast Asian correspondent. Moving now to Coconuts Bangkok, who say that protesters gather outside Parliament after court suspends Pita. So this, of course, happened earlier in the day as the debate raged inside. And crowds began forming outside the Parliament soon after the court unanimously accepted an election commission petition to rule on whether the 42-year-old politician violated election law by possessing shares in a defunct media company. The petition said Pita should be disqualified from serving in Parliament as he owned 42,000 shares of ITV public company. And Pita has 15 days to respond to the allegations. Footage there from inside Parliament looking out as the protesters are not particularly happy, and that protest made its way to the Democracy Monument later in the day. And BangkokPost.com reporting that operators voice unease over the political situation. And tourism operators have expressed concern over the unsettled political situation, urging all parties to find the best solution to avoid large-scale demonstrations. And the executive chairman of the Asia Aviation, the holding company of Thai Air Asia, said the economy will be affected if the setting up of a new government is prolonged. So we're going to have to wait at least another week until another joint sitting of Parliament, and there's no guarantees that even that will decide who the next Parliament will be. Even if they do, they've got to go through the process of appointing a cabinet, etc., etc. And he said the public and business operators want to see all related parties seek the best solution for the country as soon as possible to return to normalcy. The preferred solution should be acceptable to everyone. Well, that's not going to happen. He said the new government should be established immediately, but this should be done in a manner that would not trigger any conflict or unpleasant incidents, such as demonstrations that would affect the tourism industry. He said the tourism industry in the second half has already witnessed a slowdown, mainly attributed to the tepid Chinese market as the mainland is facing weak growth, while Chinese citizens have been encouraged to take domestic trips instead. And Marissa, the president of the Thai Hotels Association, said the tourism sector is resilient and could adjust to any circumstances in the past, except for one situation, and that's political turmoil. And the president of the Thai Restaurant Association said as long as demonstrations did not last long, it wouldn't affect restaurant businesses. Yeah, so indeed, he's probably right. People do have to eat. So it's at least another week until the joint sitting of Parliament gets another chance to have a stab at electing a Thai Prime Minister. Here we are nearly 2.5 months after the election, and this is a time of destabilisation in Thailand. And as I mentioned in last week's live program, basically at the moment, Thailand is on pause. Everybody's waiting to see what's going to happen and keeping their fingers crossed that things are not going to get nasty out on the streets. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you're a bit more up to date with things happening around Thailand. I'd appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel. And again, I promise you I'm not going to be sending you emails. It doesn't cost you anything. Big thanks to 5 Star Marine for their ongoing support, and of course to you for watching the program, and we'll do it all again tomorrow.